The Flying Dutchman is the account of a phantom ship condemned to round the Cape of Good Hope forever, reported by merchant and naval crews throughout the 19th century as an omen of misfortune at sea. This segment traces the legend from its first printed attestations of the 1790s through its early Victorian literary formation to the Royal Navy log entry of 1881 that became its most famous record. The legend of the Flying Dutchman entered print in the last years of the 18th century in travel accounts by John MacDonald and George Barrington, describing a spectral vessel said to beat endlessly against the gales off the Cape of Good Hope. The story acquired its enduring shape in 1821 when Blackwood's Edinburgh magazine published Vanderdecken's message home, naming the captain, fixing his offence, an oath sworn in a storm that he would round the Cape, though it took until Judgment Day, and introducing the motif that would anchor every later telling, the phantom crew's attempt to pass letters addressed to people long dead aboard living ships. The early Victorian decades gave the account its literary architecture. Frederick Marryat's novel The Phantom Ship, serialized from 1837 and published in 1839, sent the captain's son in search of his father's doomed vessel and carried the legend to a mass readership. Richard Wagner's opera of 1843 fixed a story on the continental stage. At sea, the tale functioned as working belief. Merchant crews rounding the Cape reported a weathered ship under full sail, in impossible winds, and held that answering her hail or receiving her letters invited misfortune to ship and cargo. Mid-century reporting settled into a recognizable cycle. Sightings clustered on the Cape Run, the busiest imperial sea lane of the age, and were carried home in mariners' letters and port town newspapers. Accounts diverged by region, the Dutch and German tradition named Vanderdecken and the Cape, while a North Sea variant attached the curse to a Captain Falkenberg condemned to sail the narrow seas playing at dice for his own soul. Common to all versions were the storm oath, the refused landfall, and the ship seen where no ship could hold her course. The legend's most consequential sighting came late. On the morning of 11 July 1881, the training squadron of HMS Bachanti off the Cape of Good Hope recorded a strange red light, as of a phantom ship all aglow, with the masts and spars of a brig standing out plainly against it. The log entry, kept by the young princes Albert Victor and George of Wales, the latter the future King George V, noted that 13 persons in the squadron saw the appearance before it vanished, and that the seaman who first reported it died in a fall from the mast later that same morning. Published in the cruise of Her Majesty's ship Bachanti in 1886, the entry gave the phantom a royal witness and a naval document. W. Clark Russell's novel, The Death Ship of 1888, closed the era's literary cycle, retelling Vanderdecken for a generation that now crossed the oceans by steam. By then the story's function was settled. It gathered the age's unease about the sea lanes on which the empire depended, and it made pride and blasphemy, the captain's refusal to yield to weather or providence, the engine of an unending sentence. In closing, the Flying Dutchman stands as the Victorian era's definitive omen at sea, a legend inherited from the age of sail, disciplined by its novelists, and entered into the official log of the Royal Navy itself.